Hello there, and welcome to another episode here. My name is Katie Hempel, and today I have a fun, potentially useful conversation here. I'm really holding space today for how I can bring to you a framework, a process for stepping into deep transformation, to really move yourself through that transformational process to achieve a goal, to achieve an outcome. Now, I know if you know me, if you know my work, a lot of times what I'm talking about is letting go of the achievement of the outcome and returning to presence. And so, of course, that's going to be part of today's conversation. But today I also really wanted to kind of hold more of a structure, hold more of a process, kind of bring more of that science, engineering, logical left brain of mine on board. A part of me that is very goal oriented, is very achievement oriented. And when I say that, I don't say that in like a, oh yeah, I have some little goals that I'd really like to achieve. Like, I am building a business from the ground up right now. I just signed up for my second 100-miler in 6 months. I am going to be running my second 100-miler in one go, running 100 miles or something like 24,000 feet of elevation gain and that same amount of descent. Like, I really like to go after big goals that scare the hell out of me, that light me up and kind of bring this, there's no way. Like, how the hell can I possibly get myself to do it? But other people do it, so there's got to be a way. With this 100-miler, it's like, oh, I've done it before. I did it 2 years ago, so I kind of know what I'm doing here. But so maybe that's you, maybe that's not you. Maybe you have a goal that's like, I really want to run a 5K, right? That's where I started. And it's like, what do I want to say here is that when it comes to setting goals, like, the magnitude doesn't matter. 5K, half marathon, full marathon, 100-miler, like, that doesn't matter. What matters is that you have something, you have a goal, you have some achievement in mind that lights you up. That lights you up. And if it doesn't light you up, then stop. Don't do it. I talked all about this in my last podcast episode. I'll link that below. Just this, like, I'm so done. I am so done going after anything in life that doesn't light me up. If there isn't a reason to work towards something that isn't like heart and soul lighting me up, then why am I spending my time there? So that little aside, this is about whatever goal you have, right? Whatever goal you have, bringing it front and center to this space right now and letting yourself be immersed in it. Letting yourself be immersed here for the first moment. Be immersed in the achievement of the goal itself. So crossing that finish line, standing on top of the mountain, signing those clients, having that lab test come back with the resolution of those symptoms, right? Whatever goal you have, holding space for it, holding space in a way that you allow it to fill you up. So really feeling yourself, right? Maybe closing down your eyes, letting your imagination run wild as you bring yourself to the completion, the successful completion of that goal. Standing there, you did it. Let that fill you up. Really let it fill you up. If you're not doing this right now, like, why are you here? Let it fill you up. Let it fill every cell in your body as you light up. You did it. You did the thing. You didn't know you'd be able to do it. You thought, maybe I can do that. But you're here now. You did it. Let it fill you up. And letting go of that moment. Returning to the present moment. Returning to here and now. Feeling your body in this moment, your feet on the floor, your seat in the chair, taking a few breaths, coming into presence in this moment. And now bringing to mind, what is it going to take for you to show up? Maybe it's a daily thing. Maybe it's like, oh, I need to, work on it every other day. What is the action item, your action step to get there? And now allowing that to flood your experience. Again, if you want, closing down your eyes, letting your imagination run wild. For me, when it comes to running a 100-miler, right, crossing that finish line, I can feel into the achievement of the moment crossing that finish line. And what I'm asking right now, stepping into, well, what about today? What about when I turn off this video, put on my running shoes and go outside? Bringing in that moment. Letting that moment flood my experience. So doing the same with you. What is the action step that you are going to have to do repeatedly, consistently to get yourself there? And letting that flood you now. Bringing yourself to those moments, immersing yourself in those experiences, letting those experiences flood every cell in your body. Let images come through your mind as you really take yourself to those moments of being in action to achieve this thing that lights you up. And as you're here, asking yourself this question: is this truly something that you're in for? Are you lit up by showing up to do this thing consistently, day after day? Is it lighting you up? So I'm going to start to talk here, share a little bit about my experience. I invite you to maintain some standing in your own embodied presence, right? So by that, I don't mean to get taken away into the camera, into my story. Let my story, let my share kind of percolate through your experience, your felt embodied experience, given where are you at this point in space and time. So I started ultra running, right? And ultra running, just have to name, it's this crazy thing, right? Not for everyone, right? Ultra running, this crazy thing, right? Who signs up for a 100-miler, right? Like, it's crazy thing, but this idea of having completed, having gotten myself through 100 miles through the mountains of Colorado, like, yeah, it lights me up. It's lit me up going through this whole progression, right? I started out just, running a mile or two, right? And then it grew to running half marathons and 50Ks and 50 miles and 100K. Now it's 100 miles. And there's something in this progression of moving the bar higher and higher, making the bar a little bit different than it was last time, and achieving it, doing what needs to be done to bring this goal to life, to make it happen, to have accomplished the thing that I didn't believe was possible before. There's something about the achievement that lights me up, that fills me up, that brings a fulfillment to me, that lights up my soul, right? That lights up my soul. And I can tell you that the achievement itself actually means very little. Like, I would never, it would be insane to me to set out to run 100 miles if every step of the process didn't bring me that same soul-centered, heart-centered desire and fulfillment. So as soon as I turn this video off today, what I get to do is drive to my local ski area because it's winter, put on my split board, so my backcountry snowboard setup, and I get to hike up that snowy mountain. And my love for that mountain, right, my love for the forest there, my desire to go be out with those trees, to be with that land, to be moving my body, right, getting that exercise in this space that means so much to me, that moment right there is everything. Each step of ultra running for me, each step of this training to get to this goal gets to be the thing itself. Now, I remember when I was training for my first, I did two half marathons, and I signed up for the first, and it was insane to me, right? I got convinced to sign up for a half marathon, and I'd always been a runner, but racing held like no interest to me, and the idea of running 13 miles and like racing it seemed insane to me. But I signed up and I start training, and every day, I did it for 3 months. Every single day I showed up and I trained for this event and I ran. And like, it was hard work. Oftentimes it was quite painful. But after every single run and during the run, it was like I could work so hard in a way that just lit me up, and I felt so good, and I kept blowing myself away, like I set these expectations for myself, like, oh, you know, I can run this pace, and then I'd go out for a run and I'd just keep going faster and faster, and this is an amazing experience. And then I run the race itself, and I, set a goal like, okay, I'm going to run at a 9:30 pace, and then I've run the whole event at a 7:45 pace, and it just blows my mind, heart, and soul wide open, and it's this amazing experience. Yes, the achievement of the event itself, along with every step of the way. So then I run the same event the next year, and I set a new goal for myself, right? Like I want to beat my personal record, my PR. I want to go faster. And I show up and I'm training and I'm trying to show up every day. And like some days are cool, like fine, that was great. And then some days just really sucked. But I kept showing myself up because I know how to set a goal for myself, right? I know how to set a goal and I know how to show up for myself consistently. So I showed up for myself consistently and it just kind of sucked. Like it was fine. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great. Then I showed up for the event and I ran it and I hit mile 3 right? 10 miles to go. And I'm like, yeah, this sucks. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be doing this. I pushed myself through 13 miles, crossed the finish line, had this pretty terrible experience after the crossing of the finish line. Just really hit me, the contrast between the two experiences. Same race, same event, two totally different experiences. One, I set this goal for myself, showed up for myself daily, blew myself away daily. Yes, put in the hard work. Yes, there was pain, there was extreme discomfort, and I loved it. I loved every moment of it. The next year, started training. I was not loving it. Yes, there were some good moments, and there were a lot of moments where it was like, what am I doing? Showed up to run the event itself and knew, like, why am I doing this? Then I shifted to the trails and trail running and ultra running, and every single part of it has just been this soul-centered, heart-centered yes. And that's what I want for you. I don't care if it's running. I don't care if it's trail running, if it's running on asphalt, rock climbing, writing a book, right? These are the things that light me up. What lights you up? What is a goal that you want to set yourself? Some big achievement or a little achievement, any achievement, right? What is something that lights you up, that makes you want to show up for yourself day after day? Knowing that the whole process is a both and, right? There's the cliche here. It's not the journey, or it's not the peak, it's the journey, right? It's the climb. It's not about the achievement itself, it's about the journey to get there. Like, yeah, there's a lot to that. I don't know, from my experience, there is something amazing that comes from standing on that peak. And if you know me, I stand atop a lot of peaks. I love climbing mountains because there is something about the journey to get to the top of the mountain. Every step to get there. The beauty, the work in every single moment to get to the top. There is something in those moments. And there is something about the peak itself that brings forth this part of life that's amazing. That's not everything, but is in itself truly incredible. And truly something that I will continue to do, to put those big goals on my radar, right? To continue to work towards these big achievements. But never again doing it in a way where each part of the process showing up isn't doing the same thing, isn't lighting me up. Heart, soul, spirit, mind, all the parts of me, all the different parts of me lighting up in the experience. Whew. That was a fun one. I think that's a fun conversation. I think it's one of the more important conversations to be had in a world full of people that really live in this world of sacrifice. Like, what can I sacrifice so that I can achieve greatness? Like, have y'all looked at Instagram lately? Like, people are achieving all over the place. Like, achievements are everywhere. They're like low-hanging fruit to be like, yeah, I can achieve that. I can achieve that. So, like, if you're working to achieve something that isn't lighting you up, why are you doing it? There's like an infinite sea of other things that you could choose from to work towards, to achieve, to call in that feeling of achievement, of goal accomplishment. finding the ones that light you up, that truly leave you fulfilled, that leave your heart glowing and content, that leave your soul roaring, that roar rising from within. Just sitting with that one for a moment, that one feels good. Alrighty, guys. I am excited to go climb a few mountains. No, climb a few laps up one snowy mountain. That's what's on the agenda for me today. I'm going to go do that as I train for this ridiculous event in 6 months. And I'll leave you here to go on your way, living your life with the hope that you are getting to choose, are allowing yourself to choose only that which truly lights you up. Okay. Leaving us on that, I have to pull in here. If you are watching all the way through here, through the very end, you haven't yet hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I invite you to do that now as you go on your way in whatever direction you're headed. With that, I look forward to seeing you in whatever the next space is that we find ourselves in.